All right, I need you all to hear me out. I am being 100% serious when I say that the deep state is real. It's not even a conspiracy, but what people think the Illuminati is actually exists in the form of right-wing billionaires colluding behind the scenes to change policy and to change public opinion so they can therefore change policy. It's all incredibly nefarious, and we just got leaks from inside of a group chat with all of these billionaires. The thing is, there were 30 to 40 different group chats on Signal. By the way, completely unrelated from Pete Hegseth, completely unrelated. But they were also using Signal here, and they had all of these different group chats that were leaked in an article named The Group Chats That Changed America from Ben Smith. And we'll read through this article, but I want to introduce you to one of the main characters if you don't know him yet. Who here knows David Saxs? He was one of the original founders of PayPal in the quote-unquote PayPal mafia. He's a South African entrepreneur, an author, kind of sounds a lot like Elon Musk. He's in that same tech bro vein, and he now works in the Trump admin as their crypto czar. He's incredibly arrogant, not really that smart. Now you know a lot about him. Let's go through some of his tweets from the past few weeks. For example, he tweeted out in response to the Zelensky interview yesterday, "Russians are not our enemy. We shouldn't be helping to kill them." This is the dude that's changing public opinion behind the scenes, this billionaire David Saxs. He says, "Russians are not our enemy." Keith Olbermann says, "Of course Russia is the enemy, you stupid fucking South Africans. Come back." All right, that's kind of funny. Someone else linked this. Russia paid Taliban $200,000 per killed U.S. coalition soldier. Media investigation says. That's only the tip of the iceberg. Yes, of course Russia paid the Taliban. Russia has been paying anti-American insurgent groups all across the globe. Russia's been trying to bring the U.S. down through disinformation, through attacking our allies, through weakening NATO, through electing Trump. Of course Russia is the enemy. David Saxs doesn't realize that. What about this one? We learned that there's a new Trump-aligned club for the ultra-rich. If you donate a certain amount to Trump, you can get a behind-the-scenes dinner with him. The launch of, quote, executive branch comes as Trump World looks to remake Washington. So someone broke this story and said, this is more than a party. This is a launch event for a Trump-aligned private club for the ultra-rich, like David Saxs, people like Don Jr. and Vivek Ramaswamy, just the ultra rich. And then David Saxs says, "Congrats to my friends, Omid Malik, Donald Trump Jr., Alex Witkoff, on launching the new private membership club, Executive Branch." And someone linked this meme. They said, "I don't get it. Why are they confessing?" And he says, "They're not confessing. They're bragging." Now, if you follow along what I've been saying over the past few minutes, sorry, I made it a little bit convoluted, but David Saxs was bragging that there is a new private membership club where if you donate enough to Trump, you can be a part of this club called, quote unquote, the executive branch. Think about how on the nose that is. You are now a part of the quote unquote executive branch if you donate enough money. So this meme from The Big Short, I believe, says, "I don't get it. Why are they confessing to this openly?" They're not confessing. They're bragging. And this brings us on to the group chat. I think that was some important groundwork to lay because now you understand who David Saxs is. Think about David Saxs. You know who Vivek Ramaswamy is, Tucker Carlson is. These people are all in group chats polling millionaires, billionaires, tech CEOs to the right. So let's read through this article. If we scroll down a little bit, it was just another day in Chatham House, one of the biggest Signal group chats that forms part of the sprawling network of influential private chats that begun during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, and which have fueled a new alliance of tech in the US right. So just to back up, during the pandemic, a lot of Silicon Valley elites, people like Mark Andreessen, people like David Saxs, they all started clustering into these encrypted Signal group chats. These chats became sort of like an underground railroad for political realignment where billionaires, tech founders, influencers would all hash out ideas, swap tactics, talk about how to pull people to the right. It literally is the deep state. And in the group chat, they were saying they want to cause a vibe shift, but they want to do it privately, behind the scenes, not on Twitter, not debating it anywhere, but doing it behind the scenes and then injecting it into the culture. Now, it's interesting because apparently Mark Cuban was added to one of the group chats and it got pretty heated because if you know anything about Mark Cuban, he's not really one of these right-wing tech billionaires, not at all. This says, that same week in Chatham House, Lonsdale and Democratic billionaire Mark Cuban sparred over affirmative action. And Cuban and Daily Wire founder Ben Shapiro discussed questions of culture and work ethic. That sounds a lot like Mark Cuban. He's always arguing with people over DEI. Please don't mistake this and think that Mark Cuban is one of the people in these chats. He's in there pushing back, which is good. The constellation of rolling elite political conversations revolved primarily around the venture capitalist Marc Andreessen. If you guys know who this is, he looks a little bit like, I won't even say it. I won't even say it. These pictures are not photoshopped. Who does he look like? Let me know. But let's continue. The constellation of rolling elite political conversations revolved primarily around the venture capitalist Marc Andreessen and a circle of Silicon Valley figures. None of their participants were surprised to see the Trump admin officials firing off secrets and emojis on the platform last month. I did not have the good fortune to be accidentally added to one of the chats, but their influence flows through X, Substack, and podcasts and constitutes a kind of dark matter of American politics and media. The group chats aren't always primarily a political space, but they are the single most important place in which a stunning realignment towards Donald Trump was shaped and negotiated. An alliance between Silicon Valley and the new right formed. I shit you not, this is like the deep state. This is like the Illuminati. But there is a second part to the story. I will say, the cracks are beginning to kind of show in this group chat. So after Trump's tariffs triggered economic backlash and split opinions on the tech right, on the CEO right, the once united chat rooms through Signal began to be fractured. They began to argue a lot more. I'm going to scroll down a bit in the article, but this reads, Trump's destabilizing Liberation Day has taken its toll on the coalition Andreessen helped shape. You can see it on X, where investors joke that they'll put pronouns back in their bios in exchange for a return to 2024 stock prices, and where one CEO from the chat has been a leading critic of Trump's tariffs. Quote, group chats have changed on the economy in the last few weeks, said Rufo. There's a big split on the tech right. The polarity of social media has also reversed, and while participants used to keep their conservative ideas off social media, now the anti-Trump sentiment is what you're afraid to say on X, one said. By mid-April, Saxs had had enough of the Chatham House. Quote, this group has become worthless since the loudest voices have TDS, and he threw a temper tantrum. So David Tack says, this group has become worthless since the loudest voices have TDS. Eric Torenberg, you should create a new one with just the smart people. Then he left the group. What a baby. He needs to be in his echo chamber so badly that if Mark Cuban is in a group chat pushing back against his tariff ideas, or if somebody who voted for Trump is pushing back against the tariff ideas, he leaves. Brian Goldberg says, I'm not sure we have Trump derangement syndrome. I think Republicans who supported Trump are seeing that this is a failed administration. And then Tucker Carlson leaves, Sean McGuire leaves, Tyler Winklevoss leaves. We know that people like Vivek Ramaswamy were in this group chat. What a knight near blunt rotation. To wrap it up, I find this story incredibly interesting for a few reasons. It's not inherently bad to have group chats where you talk with people about policy, but this goes a few steps beyond that. This is the right-wingers levying allegations against the left that we have a powerful underground network of rich and elite people who are trying to change the way the world works when they're doing exactly that. In fact, the left is kind of decentralized right now. I mean, liberals, the leftists, the entire coalition, it's kind of fractured. We're trying to figure out where to go after we took another loss to Trump. So we cannot let Elon Musk control the narrative. Elon Musk has been tweeting literally this month about how liberals have secret cabals of people trying to pull the strings when he himself bought Twitter. It's a distraction tactic. He's trying to invert reality, and we will continue to push back relentlessly. If you appreciate what I do, if you enjoyed this video, all that I ask is that you drop a like, subscribe. It's free. Thank you so much for everything that we've built so far. We will continue to build this. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.